So this is my first visit, the 3.19 PTU, and reminder: 7800X3D, 64 gigs, DDR5 RAM running at 6,000 speed, and unfortunately a 2080 vanilla that's overclocked, but it is certainly the bottleneck position. I have all my settings at very high, except for clouds. They're at high. Side note, I went from about 30-ish FPS to around 22 FPS when I went to the very high clouds, with, of course, remember the 2080 vanilla. Otherwise, though, it looks fantastic. I gotta say, the ambiance at night in Lorville is just amazing. One of the big parts of 3.19 is Lorville 2.0 and the attempts to try to make it a little more lived in of a city, a more interesting place to visit. And I've mentioned this many places on forum threads and Spectrum, Reddit, on my own comments on my videos. I really do love Lorville. It has a weird vibe to me where it just hits different than anywhere else. I feel that this place was a home for me as my first planetary landing location. So, I mean, I went straight from here's one of the newer places. Turbulent did a great job on all the different hospitals across the fields. That's the medical center here. That's the one side of it, and then there's another entrance over towards where you come off the tram from Tisa Spaceport. But God, it's beautiful. I gotta tell you, it's just they did a great job. But yeah, they just did a fantastic job. Just great job. The teams, all the teams involved. I'm inside the internal parts of Lorville now, not looking out at some of the new city lights and such, and the big cloud structures, and I can see that I'm getting about 40 FPS. 3.19 PTU patch right now we're on. As of 5.3, 20 through 23, is pretty good. It looks like they did some work at over here. Let's take a look. First of all, will the security yell at me? Nope. So they don't seem to care about that guy chilling there. So you got like your equivalent of Dumper's Depot here, Reclamation Disposal, and that's your mission giver. He's blocked in by the NPCs that are clearly broken, or just booting up. Could possibly be that way. Actually, this ain't Dumper's Depot. I take that back. I'm just gonna leave that in the video. I think I've been accused before of once I was accused of like somebody going, "Oh, you script your videos and this and that." Oh, no. Usually I edit out things that I make a mistake on, then go explore them or go through the wiki or Galactopedia and find out, and then I just record it again. So no, they're not scripted. Most of the time, I like to do real experiences in the game. How many suns is kicking? Oh, let's test the AI over here. So the NPC delivery agent for food. Nope, no work on him. But is there any? Nope. And I mean, honestly, they probably would have like a whole much cleaner area right here full of the food to grab. Go inside Tammany and Sons, take a look. I instinctively press T to like try to talk to people with a flashlight and see if they're real or not AFK, if and whatnot. But I'm not wearing a spacesuit right now. I'm trying to get the full audio from out here. So nothing too crazy right now. Not this playthrough probably, but another playthrough. I need to go to a couple other locations to hunt down a new Cuddy paint that I heard about. Guess we'll see if I run into it. This is an area I was probably wrong about, I have to own up to. In a previous video, I theory crafted that this area would be part of Lorville 2.0. And you can see how the icon makes this door want to open, but it is not attached. So if it is part of something new, yeah, it's not there yet. And if it is not part of something new, then I'm wrong, and it's just the door has been staged up for something, and who knows what. And then there's another, what feels like a mission area right here, back here, where they have a ladder strategically placed, and then I think you would come out of here, and then this is also set up with a little clickable, but I don't know what the deal with this is. These areas right here, I just feel like they're all set up to like be a thing, and I don't know what that thing is. Yeah. This train station, another thing I claimed, I thought I theory crafted would maybe be a thing. It's not. It's still just an animation flying by. What are you gonna do, right? Now, in the last dev videos that covered Lorville, they said that basically CBD was just kind of enhanced a little bit, tweaked a little bit. It was not like they changed it. Another way to say, like, they set it up so the CBD is not going to change that much. So I think, honestly, the best ways to see what's going on is either fly around or drive around. Not actually go straight to the CBD. So what I'm thinking is, am I at the wrong train station? Probably. This is one thing I really wish they'd do, is put more maps out. Because, well, let's just go to the CBD, screw it. They need more maps around here, though. A lot like the new ones over on Area 18 are fantastic.
Next stop, Central Station.
It's again those beautiful big towers. Nice color scheme that matches the Hurston Dynamics kind of that faded goldish bronze brass kind of feel. It's really good looking. Now, some of these locations, these rooftops are actually landable, and they're trying to tie in contracts with them in gameplay, hopefully in some of these structures. Who knows how much of that's actually going to make it to 3.19.
Please watch your step when disembarking the train.
See the familiar giant statues. Okay. That's an interesting glitch. So I've seen that glitch before. Oh God, it's been a while. There used to be a glitch on Orison where if you jumped off the main building at a specific spot, it was high enough, basically the rooftop, just to be clear. And I don't think it's a glitch anymore, so I think I'm okay about talking about it. You jumped off the rooftop of Orison, the building you spawn in, Garden Meadows. No, it's got a weird name. Sorry, I forget the name of the living space. But that tower, and once you hit the ground, it's far enough up that you just teleport to the spaceport. And it used to be a way people would go up the elevator instead of down, and instead of going through the whole process of going to the spaceport, they just teleport to the spaceport. When they did fix it, at least one patch, I remember, it was very funny to see everybody ranting in the chat comments, because there was quite a few people that were using it. Because they woke up in the hospital instead. Alright, I guess that's the universe's way of telling us it's time to get on a ship.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Yeah, 409 might be a best option. Let's see if I got any paints for that before I go kicking it out. Well, before I even get it delivered, I should have got it delivered first. Let's see, can I do it before it gets delivered? You can see they're all locked up. Yep. I have to deliver it first, then kick the paint on, then actually have it
vehicle retrieval system.
requested. That is clunky as can be. But it works, I guess.
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Alright, so it's only 20 seconds. But during that time, what I can do is... They did something with the lighting. Really nice little touches. Like, I swear you couldn't see all this detail before and the reflections off those fan blades. And I'm getting 50 FPS staring at this fan, so at least that's pretty 56. That is pretty dang polished. Better word. That's a scary word to say with Star Citizen, but great work. And then you go to this, and these people haven't booted up yet. The camera tilted in, like it wants to talk to him, and I can see like the interact options and stuff, and this little tooltips they've been adding. They got rid of the original tip system, and they said they have this dynamic new system they're testing out. The AI are chilling in my favorite spot. Yeah, okay. It's the same stuff as before with the commercial spots. That's literally the same bag I've seen many, many times. Someday, there'll be Genesis Starliners docked below here, and players and NPCs hopping on board. Someday. I was just over here, but I might as well just take a peek on this side too, just to be sure it's not there. Yep, the doors are stripped down. Just for the hell of it. Someday. Alright, let's go back here. And it's finally spawned this 400i. There's a player there running out to the window to check it out. I don't blame him, it's beautiful. You watch, I'll do all this and there won't be any paint. Yep, my Penumbra or whatever and the other one paints are sitting in buyback. Okay, so let's pull this stock 400i out.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Hangar 7, and the marker also worked. Nice. Now, to give credit where credit is due, the current circumstances around utilization of ship modules. 3.19 is going to be a major change because any modules that are after the actual ones that come with the ship, if you blow up in that ship, it will basically drop them, has a chance of dropping them or just destroying them. They will not be covered by insurance. It's a huge shakeup. I don't know if they're going to stick to that when it comes to like 3.19 live. It's feeling, I'm going to use the stable word, which is a dangerous word to use in this business. But when I use the word stable, it feels like a very stable build, but I don't know. I just don't know if it's stable enough for that level of punishment if something goes wrong. Like, I mean, I'm just looking at this and it's stuck open and this is all clunky on a ship has been out for multiple large patches now. I usually don't use the elevator. I'll just use this ladder and then just jump down the elevator shaft to get back and forth quickly. But I mean, yeah, it's just... I'm curious how that's going to be handled for players if they do go through with that and stick to it for 3.19. Okay. Time to annoy people and try to look for the on button. There we go. Now, let's see if I don't have to hit some 50, spam a hotkey 50 times. Did they fix the landing service? I think they did.
You are clear to launch.
There we go. And the nice noises. In 3.18.2, a major problem was the comms would not answer you, and then you had to spam the Control N over, Alt N over and over and over and over again to get it to work. That was like multiple builds. You can say what you want about this ship, but in the short term, this is quite a beautiful ship, and it's quite a little good get-arounder. Yes, I know it's a jack of all trades, master of none type situation, but, and I'm biased, coming from the 300i series, especially the 325A and the 315P, I'm big fans of seeing those engines that kind of give me little hints of those, and hints of the origin design language are pretty cool. In real life, I don't really like luxurious stuff, but in this game, for some reason, I seem to have quite a few of the ships that kind of gravitate towards the most. Don't know why. Okay, so let's go explore. Wow. Note the FPS is around 29. I've heard some people say that they wish I could make that a little bigger. If I figure that out in the future, I will. Yeah, it's like a steady 29 right now. The engine effects and the structures and such, and all this lighting. I can hear the fans really wiring up right now on my computer. However, the CPU is still a steady like 70% on the two main cores it's using. About 70, 60s, like constantly jumping up and down. The CPU has still tons of space left. I would love to get my hands on a 4090 and really put this through its paces, or at least a 4080 in the future when they come down, hopefully in price eventually, and really see if I can max out the CPU. I don't think it's going to bottleneck on the CPU, but who knows. These are the vats that can be seen from space, depending on the conditions the developers were talking about, and these little islands of construction. So originally intended to drive out to one of these, but I guess that wouldn't have been a good idea anyway. It doesn't look like there's proper roads. It looks like this is more meant to be flown into, because first of all, the space is just so big. And to answer one question I'm sure that will come up is restricted areas. I'm not seeing any red whatsoever, which is good. He should be explorable. I mean, you should be able to like land on top of a random vat or something, but curious if I'm curious if they actually have landing pads out here. This is beautiful. This is once again 3.19 PTU, wave 1, 5/3/2023. I know that's not what they're going for, but it gives me like Chernobyl vibes or something from that show, to a certain extent. But instead of like the blue Cherkov or purple radiation Cherkov effect radiation thing, it's like orange instead. Like, it does not look healthy. They nailed it, I guess. For those who don't know, Hurston Dynamics is the Hurston family in general, and the company they founded and they run, is basically extremely like progress at all costs. Workers, it's okay for them to have toxic environments and such, as long as the work gets done. And some people have accused them, obviously, of having very poor conditions for their workers and treating them wrong. A company like Microtech, for example, is like the polar opposite. Smaller workforces, higher technology jobs, far less workers issues, at least as of what we know of, and their headquarters over here in Stanton. At least the four companies of Stanton that we truly see as the juggernauts of this area. Hurston is probably the roughest on their employees. Yeah, at least, once again, of what we've seen in Stanton. They could absolutely have other facilities and other systems, and they do, by the way, most of these companies. However, Hurston specifically is very ingrained here. Lorville, it was supposed to be like a template for like more locations for their workers to work out of, and it was supposed to be a standardized city in the lore. And Hurston just kind of kept evolving into the moons around them and just kind of like plateaued, is my understanding. They are a strong company, but they don't exactly have like 6,000 different field offices. It's like they are very centralized to Stanton. Other companies, on the other hand, tend to have very diverse portfolios that are like all over the place in the UE Empire and beyond, even if you're counting experimental systems, like studying supernovas and things like that, and other crazy things in some systems that are not truly habitable for long periods of time. Or at least we have no idea when they're going to explode. I did a lore video on one system like that had a couple companies that were like ducking their heads in. Hurston is not that kind of company. Hurston's like, I'm just going to sit back in Stanton and pump out war material and such. Ironically, they have very strict personal defense weapons and stuff laws for this company. For this, obviously, once again, this is fictional. This is not real. Whatever. But for a company that produces so many arms and armor, they certainly have a weird rules on what their employees / residents can own. There's no true gun store in Lorville, which is an interesting side note for a company that produces tons of them, especially for ships, for the record. So yeah. Okay, so I guess I should just get on with it now and see if I can land on the tower and get in trouble. Now, I feel like I'm under an obligation to do this the right way, and at least try to be legit. Let's see if I can go to power. Let's see, menu. Let's praise power comms. Nope. Lorville landing services are 6,400 away. That's the Tisa spaceport ones. So let's see what I can get away with here, if anything. These all look like massive air handlers for like the building. This does not look like a landing zone. Alright. Still not getting any warnings. I'm thankful for that. In the very early days of the red restricted areas, they would actually just blow your ship up. Like, you hit one of the red lines and it might have gave you like a millisecond to like figure it out what the heck's going on, and then you just blow up. That was not pleasant. These are large hangar doors. These are hangars. And to give you a frame of reference of how big those hangar doors are, you can see smaller ones in the center too. Is that one big one on the front, on the top? Look at the size of this. Oh. We've overstayed our welcome. So there is your answer. You can get up to the top of the hangar doors, and it looked like there was one huge one in the center. Those medium-size hangars can definitely fit a 400i or so. And Hurston Dynamics does not like you flying above their hangar doors of their fancy tower without permission. The ship is just stored. It has not been impounded, interestingly. Although I certainly deserved it.
Please visit us again.
There's the restricted area warning after I've already had my ship. Oh, oops. I did get a trespassing charge. It's catching up, apparently. 2,000 UEC. There we go. Done. No visit to Kelcher. Alright, carry on. I'm good, bro. Alright, let me check the rental list, see if there's anything new. This is an important list because I've always advocated for buying in game. And a lot of people have said, like, well, that's millions of UEC. If I'm not flying with buddies, how am I supposed to even earn that? And one of my responses is always, well, you can get Connie Andromeda for 3 days, and it cost 186,000 UEC, which isn't that much. A couple hours of grinding in a smaller ship, pulling contracts, you can get enough to pick that up for a whole weekend, and then Weekend Warrior with you and your couple. Even if you bring a couple buddies during a free fly, none of you have to own a ship, other than like one small ship, obviously, to start, or the free fly events where you get a free ship to play with, and then you could easily get a 3-dayer out of the Connie Andromeda and just grind out crazy amounts of creds. And I'm not even talking about like playing the game like you live it. I'm just saying like play. Here's another good one. I know this is pretty high for people, but for a 3-day weekend for 710 UEC, this is a great step up from the, after you had the Andromeda and grind that out, you could rent this for a weekend. And the 600i, even though it doesn't show it, has 3 size 5 fixed guns that point forward and a ton of shields and armor, or more hit point pool right now, but yeah. This thing is fantastic for Xeno Threat and other types of games where like there's bigger ships to fry. And remember, if you're renting it, you do get the insurance. Don't replace any mods, because in 3.19 at least, they're going to start making it so any additional mods, you lose them if you go down. And just have a good time. You know, the rental fee's the only thing. And then, of course, eventually, after all the rentals, and somebody brought in an STV directly into the let's see. This is the racing model of the buggy.
Systems activating. Systems on.
Oh man. What I think happened here is somebody dropped this from the sky, or you know, like there's open sky there, or they snuck it in another way. And then once they got this far, there must be some invisible wall that teleports them back out of the seat. It's like War of the Worlds stuff. They probably got zapped right out of there. They didn't leave it there, at least on purpose. They were intending to bring it in. The game's like, yeah, you had enough fun. Alright, so this is the other thing. Once you're done renting, you can actually just buy a dang ship. Connie Phoenix, extremely rare, awesome ship. Right now, after you're done, you know, the 60 gazillion, well, the wipe and the suggested wipe that did never happen fully, something like this post big wipes is a really nice goal. You know, 5.6 mil is a lot, but then all of a sudden you have this potentially for an entire year you can play with this ship all through many patches and PTU cycles and such, and enjoy these ships you can buy in game. Drake fellow, that's the fellow who brought it. Here's an Aurora LX, another favorite of mine from the early days, 245k. I've been meaning to actually pick one of these up and do a review about it, because somebody said, was it Bojangles? Somebody asked me to make a video about, like, can you make a car commercial style or a car review, you know, real world type, you know, review of the Aurora series, like for fun. And I said, if I'm going to do it, I'd do it in Aurora LX, because this is my first ship. It had a leather seat and a slightly upgraded weapon platform. And it was meant to be, like, classier than the other Aurora. And it was, like, I think the difference was $5. But I really like this ship. And I've had a lot of years with it. Unfortunately, now my Aurora LX is a Apollo Medevac. Which is a nice step up. And I thought at the time it was a smart move to apply the thing, because it seemed like there was a lot of movement on the healthcare, and this was right at the time when the Cuddy Red lost its regen. So I was like, clearly the Apollo is going to be in the next major patch cycle, and it did not, and it's still not in. Here's the Drake Cutter. It's kind of sort of an advanced starter, kind of straddling that line into distancing itself from, like, the really starter ships into a very practical ship. But you can see it jumps up to 675k. From the Aurora LX, that was 285k. So, you know, you can start seeing it jumps in price. But yeah, there's plenty of options. I'm not seeing a lot of new stuff. And then, of course, your white whales, your elephants to find and whatnot. These are the big guys. Or Gemini's. They still haven't fixed these models even in 3.19. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything new. I'm gonna just take a walk around real quick and see if anything didn't make it in the kiosk. For starters, these ships. There's a lot of ships up here. Now, is this the regular one, or is this the fancy one? No, don't need storage. Really don't need storage right now. No, shucks. Somebody's been busy. As a reminder, it's PTU, so they can actually help out by doing silly things like this. And yes, for the record, there's not supposed to be a Cuddy and a C8R with its lights on, just hanging out on top of that hammerhead. And for the record, when you fall out of this door, the wrong place, you can actually break your legs and stuff. So that they're pretty high up there. Fortunately, they got a C8R, but it's on the wrong end. It's a shame it's not down here, so you can't, like, jump out of there and get hurt and then heal up in the C8R. Oh, jeez. So people are bringing back the old glitches. Okay. Sure. Between that, the Grey Cat STV and the C8R and the Cuddy Black. It's pretty cool. Or the side, the Cuddy Red, but with a different paint job. You can see the rescue name on the side. Okay. Someone tells me Drake Fellows involved. This is the Cuddy. This was a door I noticed that was open in a previous patch, I think in the 3.18 cycle. And still the door interior is not there. I'm still curious if they're going to add something here, because this would be the back of the concierge area. And if you recall, like I mentioned before, like medical facilities and other things that they keep adding tend to have two doors nowadays for the most part. So this would be the primary door, my thought is, and that would be the exit over there, or the discrete entrance and exit for the concierge club. There's multiple of these, but this is the chairman's in-game, but really it's the concierge club. That's the one here in Lorville, which honestly I think a lot of people are going to point out, like, why is this not at the tower? but they tend to be at the spaceports where they're more useful and practical. But I mean, really, the thing that Hurston's very proud of and that they really show off is the tower. I mean, that's something that's like the dynamic landmark of the entire place. But even these smaller skyscrapers now that do have landing pads on top of them are very interesting. I will give them that. Some of the new advertisements that they put all over the place. Once again, if you watch the videos from the official Star Citizen YouTube account, you can see some of their content on the most recent ISCs and stuff where they have those discussions about those new things, such as the new advertisements. And some more things about Lorville 2.0, like the lighting work, clouds, a lot of dynamic things. As a reminder, though, this is kind of a weird thing. You will have to come here to visit all of this, and the Fleet Week is not here. It is actually over at Area 18 in the Brevik Center, I think it's called, the Bevik Center. And that's just a reminder that you will have to fly over here. Fortunately, you can rent ships. If you have never been to a Fleet Week or an IAE, you rent ships for 0 UEC. You literally walk up to them and rent them for free. And you can fly them all around and have a good time, and you can come here and explore Lorville yourself and really get an eyes on and check it out. And also test your PC. This is a wave of the future. This type of 2.0ing of an entire planetary landing location is going to be done at other locations, clearly. Area 18's got a little tiny taste of it with different waypointing and pathing and stuff, but I mean, you can see my FPS drop below 30 as soon as it's looking at the city landscape high speed like this on good distances. As a reminder, I probably could trim back my terrain tessellization to like medium. I could probably trim back a lot of things, but I'm trying to stress test the computer and really show you what this chip can do, even in these less than opportune conditions. Once again, the 2080 is the limiting factor, unfortunately. You can see as soon as we get back to somewhere that doesn't have to draw long distances and it has less going on, you know, you got 33 FPS, 35 FPS, 34 FPS kind of hanging out in that general vicinity. But yeah, they really nailed Lorville.
Welcome to Metro Center. Transfers to the perimeter, spaceport, and industry line.
I'm gonna actually pause the video for a moment just to get the save on it so it doesn't corrupt or anything risky like that. And I'm gonna come back. I'll be at the other end of this perimeter line. So I'm probably the first person to make it out here on this server, so AI will be even worse, most likely, than at other places. Well, it loads in.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
So let's see. Let's do a Spartan.
Please visit us again.
So same deal. I have to deliver it and then request it. And then once it's delivered and sitting here, I'm good to go. I think they're trying to make it a little more merciful for people. When they set their location in the wrong location and all, they find out all their work mates or their buddies have their stuff in a different place, they can have it delivered into a different location. And you can split up your stuff. So in theory, you could have like all your mining ships on one location, on one like outpost near some of your favorite mining locations, and then have all your combat ships sitting somewhere else, or mix and match. Have some of each in different places. So there's like a org value, and there's also like a player value to that, without having to make you pick a spot and then you're trapped in there for the entire patch cycle unless you do all sorts of shenanigans, which is nice. picked this up as a test bed because this is a large vehicle. It's one of the cheaper actually large vehicles. And like for example, a prime example would be testing the 600 eyes bay to see what it can fit and what it can't, without having to like keep a whole Nova on my account just for the heck of it, just for that status. I already have a CCU to get out of this thing when it gets a little further on, but for now it's pretty slick, and it's been growing on me. I haven't shown it in videos, but I have used it a few times, and I think it's really cool. And somehow, some way, I feel like this thing has more stability than the dang Ursa, which is saying something. The Ursa is like the gold standard to me. But yeah, I like the size of it. The speed is okay. It could be better. It actually has more speed than the ballista system with like the missiles and such version. So it's got pretty good speed for what it was, or what it is, I should say. Which makes sense. It's more of an APC slash, I guess you could also call it a maybe, depending on how you argue, that small remote turret on top is an IFV because it can like stay and fight. Notice I drove right through that rock. Holy cow. Let's test the weird sponge things. Yep, they're solid. Rock wasn't though. Either lucked out or whatnot. I probably should have did this during the day, like as an in-game daytime. But I'll be blunt with you. I probably wouldn't even tested this if it wasn't for doing it right now. I just wanted to see what it's like out here. If anything's changed. Some air. Now, one of the things that what I thought would be interesting about this is that even being out here, it is absolutely, come on, don't tell me I high-centered this completely. Come on, you can do it. You can do it, machine. Yeah. Try doing that in a gray cat. But it's absolutely massive. I mean, you can see a lot of this was like the way it was before they added in the Lorville 2.0 stuff, but this is just ridiculously large. Like, I mean, I'm driving into like a cavern trying to get to this area here. Like I said, I should have been out here in the daytime. So instead, I'm just kind of YOLOing it across the caverns here, trying to get to one of these industrial areas and see if there's a drivable area. I'm expecting walls. I'm expecting no way to get in, but I'm just going to do it anyway, just for the sake of it. Especially when you hear the devs throw, it looks like there might be a lake down there. This thing can get through, this thing can do almost anything, but I don't want to trust it trying to get through possible water. Also, whatever else is in the water in Lorville. But yeah, I really like the Spartan. I think it's one of those weird trucks that, like, I'll definitely buy a couple of these in game and have them sitting at my outposts and sitting in some of the ships that can have these. I think it's a really neat vehicle and very practical. I can't wait to see its storage really realized. It's got like a little inventory system, and then also in the back you can see like these big cargo nets where you're going to be able to put storage area stuff inside the armored vehicle. And once again, it's very practical. It's very hard to get this thing stuck. It's got a ton of hit points. Fun vehicle. I will mention that it's weird that none of these lights are on. So there's these lights on these towers. And, wow, look at that, actually. That's pretty trippy. I don't know why, but when I first just spun the camera around right there and took a look, it kind of gave me vibes of Fallout New Vegas, where you're out in the deserts and you're just staring at New Vegas and it's out in the distance and you want to get there, but like you realize part of the game is just building yourself up and journeying through it to find those areas. And when you finally do get there, it's like, you know, a major plot point, obviously. Wow. Just gave me vibes of that. It's funny how things give you flashbacks. Anyway, as a reminder, I'm still in the Lorville pocket. I am absolutely still in Lorville. Somehow. This is all in Lorville. And interestingly, if I have my camera not pointed at the city, unsurprisingly, the graphics are better, but I mean better, like 36, 37 FPS. Where I looked at the city, and all of a sudden they're dropping down to 30. So 7 FPS difference between looking at that skyline and the clouds around it and such and everything, and looking in this direction. It's pure rendering FPS. No! Come on, you can do it. Spartan's like a Thomas the Tank Engine of Star Citizen. It's just got so much roll power. I love this thing. So, we're finally getting out to one of these things. I guess this is where I'm going to put the chapter mark, so you don't have to sit through it all. And we'll just see what it's like on the side of it. Like I said, I'm not expecting much. Who knows? I've been pleasantly surprised before. I can remember Ash and me going through... Ash and I going through some of the restricted areas at Orison, just exploring. Not like shooting video or anything, just exploring and having a good time. And I love this truck. It's ridiculous what I put it through. For the record, if you can get one of these, pick it up in game. If you already have a few ships and you're just looking for something fun, this, and especially if you have a ship that can carry the thing, like the Hercules series or the Hercules series, the 890, of course, and the future 600i Explorer, ship will be able to carry it no problem. If you have a vehicle like that that can handle it and carry this, have a ship that can handle this vehicle, it's worth it. But anyway, back to Orson. So exploring it, Ash and I going around different paths, checking out things, and going to like all the floating areas, and checking out the elevators and the delivery locations, and speculating about how what they'll have at different locations for player use and NPC use and stuff. One of the places was the Providence platform, getting into some of the restricted pathways, and you can't get out of them. So what it does is just gives you a timer warning you to get out. We both got crime stats and kicked this out. Because it doesn't give you a way out. You're just like, okay, I'll leave, let me leave. It's like, you can't get back. Like, we weren't trying to get in a restricted area, we were just trying to explore the platform. In the early days, that's how it was. Now my FPS went back down to like 30, 32, looking at those pots over there, for example. You can see some of this dynamic lighting. I'm heading over to this lit up area here. In video game design, traditionally, lights tend to either be there for looks, or they're actually there to give player a cue that, hey, this is the place to be. So, I'm hoping this is the place to be. Nope. Okay. So I want to give us another shot by going down to this end. So it looks like there's like probably like an industrial parking garage type thing sticking out. Okay, so first impressions. This place is massive. I mean, really massive. Like, you saw how long it took me to get out here if you weren't flipping through the chapters. And it is... My goodness. It is incredible. The scale of this. It's clearly meant to be flown over. It's meant to be like a look. Maybe even like player, hopefully in the future, player interaction here. Some of the things I can think of is like dropping off rare ores for higher processing potential. Some of the other things I can think of is like industrial, like defense missions. Whether that's shooting stuff or just investigating a story or something, you know, or delivering something. I can definitely see them out here. You know, not everything has to be combat, but certainly that's a part of the game for sure. My FPS is dropping dramatically. These clearly have like the same style as like the big skyscrapers they added. And it's just mind-boggling the scale. You can see like different letters it looks like up there to kind of give, I guess, the employees of the place designations of where they're at. Because it's just so big, it's easy to lose track of what the heck's going on. One of the things I am curious about is the outside of the structure had colliders on everything. I'm curious what is collidered and what's not. Also, it is very frustrating those lights aren't baked in and just sitting there on. I keep driving by all these light posts and they're in my way, and they are definitely collidered and they're not on. Where is that pot? Looks like I just saw a giant flame. I don't think it was a player. I don't think it was an NPC ship. If anybody from CIG is watching this, I apologize for driving a Spartan into your beautiful work. And I know it's supposed to be seen from above, but I just really wanted to see if there's anything here to drive to. I don't know where the heck that flame is. Now, is this supposed to be mining material? It looks like the ground has a weird shape to it. I should have brought a multi-tool with me. Oh, that's a good question. Do you have access to your city inventory from here? I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Let's just hop out anyway and see. Uh-oh. That was a mistake. So, that's what I was talking about before, about storage. You have weapons racks, and I think one of these was the inventory. A lot of these are modules, but one of these was an inventory in the past. Is it this one? These are the lightings. Here's those racks I was talking about that can store stuff. See, there's just some random bags shoved in there. But hopefully in the future they'll actually have that set up. And you can see that there's weapon racks between the seats. For the, well, I mean, really it's supposed to be for like soldiers or response people or something. It's a working ship. What's not working right now is the there it is. Look at that, 500K SCU storage. Whew. Okay, here we go. Once again, we're still in the city technically, so I can like literally switch out whatever I'd like. I have a multi-tool, but I do not have, I think, the adapter for it, so I didn't pick them up yet on this patch. Okay, I can put a rooster in here. Let's get Pico the penguin. No. Interestingly, he's too big. Let's put the whale on the floor. There he is. Weird vibes today, I'll tell you. He's got the party hat too. Let's put him in here. And let's also put the other one with the party hat. There we go. 2 picos. Looks like the other one flew out of the ship. Let's see how many seconds these last on the seats. Okay, so I'm moderately pleased right now. Another interesting thing, there's 2 doors on this thing, which actually presents like an interesting issue. If there was 1 door, you'd have more utility space. So that's interesting. Can't be certain. No, it's not Pico. I was thinking that's the 3rd Pico. Oh no, he's over there. But yeah, my goodness, look at the scale of this place. That's just massive. And this is, once again, all within a planetary landing location. It's mind-boggling. And this is one of multiple, by the way. This is just one. I think there's like 5 of them or something, of these crazy industrial facilities. The devs really nailed it when they said they wanted to make it so... Oh, gotta be careful not to die out here. Okay, so I think I know what to do. I'm gonna put you on the ramp. Okay, that's one way to end this video. Well, that's gonna do it from Lorville. You can see the performance. You can see what's going on. Once again, 7800 X3D, 64 gigs of RAM at 6K, and I feel like I've gotten a new lease on life. And a 2080 vanilla, so that kind of changed things. What the hell? And this is what I'm talking about with Star Citizen. If I wasn't in the middle of a city and I had a bunch of stuff stored in this ship, this vehicle, I'd have a problem. Right now, if I just leave, I'll have the ship still, I'll have my gear still and everything. But I have my precious Picos. But if I was not in the middle of a city when this happened, that'd be a big problem. Yeah, this is about the time to end this. And, you know. Oh, boy. This is the weirdest type of situation. I've seen this before, but not usually with a vehicle and not in this circumstance. Goes to show you, always F4 and go around the outside with a Z and see where you're actually at before you hop out. If I waited another 10 minutes, I probably would lower it. Maybe. Alright. Fly safe, everyone. Thanks for sticking around.